Did it happen? Did we do the thing? I'm refreshing. I hope you're maybe refreshing. I'm refreshing. Oh, there we are. Mute myself. Here we go. All right. The thing. It happened. We did the thing. Oh, that's great. Okay. So how is everybody today? Welcome. It's time for the weekly meeting here on the Booty Mashup channel. Hope you all had a good workout with Fox Sounds, doing the sit and spin, which I so appreciate it. It's like I feel like we're really kind of like hitting our stride with our weekly programming now, and like kind of changing things up a little bit for Friday, adding sit and spin, and then moving this show, which is now no longer Mashup Talk. It is now the weekly meeting, and moving it up a little earlier before happy hour, because I feel like happy hour is really when we kind of like get the party started, you know? So this is sort of like the little calm before the storm, you know? We're just gonna kick it. How's it sound out there? I know it's probably a little loud again. It's like, oh, what is this? Oh God, here we go. Let's try that. How's that? Is that a little better? I think I was distorting there. You know, every fucking week, it's like something is a little different. So it's like, you know, I think what I need to do is do what we used to do when I was, this is like such a common like audio thing. Like when I was in bands for years, and it would be like, you get everything all dialed in during band practice. It's like, oh, I can hear the vocals, I hear the guitar, it sounds all good, right? It's like, okay, guys, don't touch any of the knobs. We finally, after, months, we got it sounding pretty good. And then the next time you go in for band practice and no one else has been in the studio and everyone, plugs in, I was like, fuck, I can't hear the guitar. Can't hear the vocals. The drums are too loud. What the fuck? Who was in here? Who changed it? And it was like, nobody was in there. I feel it's like the same way with live streaming. It's like, okay, I haven't touched, Skype. I didn't touch the Zoom. I didn't touch the OBS. It's like, I didn't touch anything. And now I turned it all back on again. And for whatever reason, something changed. I don't know. Somewhere along the way. DJ Dada, you're hilarious. You still are in a band. It doesn't feel like I'm in a band. It doesn't. Shout out to DJ Dada. He has a show here on Tuesdays called Deep Cuts with Dada. He's now one of our resident DJs on the channel. But before that, he was the drummer in Smash Up Derby, the live house band in San Francisco for our Booty Mashup party here. And we haven't played a gig since February. Like, it's been almost a year. So it always feels like it's like, I'm not in a band anymore. It's weird. This is like the first time in since the 90s, since the early 90s, that I have not been in a band. I mean, I guess technically I'm still in a band, but we have not, I have not seen my bandmates in almost a year. It's very strange. So you guys, it's time for the weekly meeting. And yes, I rebranded the show from Mashup Talk to Weekly Meeting because I realized half the time I'm not even talking about mashups. I'm not. And half the time because the show started off with, I'll bring a guest onto the show and we'll talk about mashup culture. Well, that sort of, sometimes that happens, and a lot of times it did not. It would just be like, hey, hang out with Adriana for an hour, and we're going to talk about the state of the booty, the state of the booty mashup. But today we're going to get back to our roots a little bit. I've got a special guest. coming on. He's one of our frequent guests on this channel, definitely part of the Booty Mashup family, and that is PDS Mix, who does an amazing show called Masters of Mash on his own channel, where he interviews luminaries in the mashup scene. But before we get to that, I'm gonna do a little show and tell for you guys. So I posted yesterday. As many of you know, I'm moving. I am in the middle of packing. I was in Berlin for 5 months. I managed to get an artist visa. And so I left Jupiter Gatling in Berlin, and I'm now back in San Francisco. I've been back for a month, and I am frantically taking care of all of the things in my life before I move to Germany for who knows how long. How long is the global pandemic going to last? And how long are bars and clubs going to be closed? That's how long I'm going to be in Germany. So who knows is the answer. But I have an artist visa to live and work in Germany for like at least the next 3 years. So that's awesome. Hopefully I won't use all 3 years of it, and I'll be able to come back and start throwing parties again. But yeah. But in the meantime, I need to shut it all down here, right? And by shut it all down, I certainly do not mean shut down the business. The Booty Mashup operations, which I've discovered is living just fine. Not super fine, but we've made it work. We've managed to trim our budget, hack and slash everything. It's amazing how much money you save when you're not spending it on actual party production in an actual venue, and everything is online, and really all we're paying for is web hosting and some live streaming gear. And I mean, there are still some considerable expenses, but it's nothing compared to how much it costs to produce an event and pay all the talent and pay the venue and all that stuff. Granted, you don't make anywhere near as much money either, but fortunately, sustainability was always like the big thing. It's like, oh my God, can I sustain the business through a global pandemic? And I'm really happy to say yes. But a big chunk of that is because I'm leaving San Francisco with its insanely high rent. This apartment behind me is $3,200 a month rent. Like it's a little less than that, but then you add in like the water fee that I have to pay and stuff like that. It actually ends up being closer to like $3,400. So yeah, I can't really afford to be here anymore. So I'm one of these people who's leaving San Francisco, priced out of San Francisco, and moving to cheap ass Berlin, where the love of my life is living, and we will be live streaming from there. So lots of stuff to take care of, and I'm digging through the muck. I mean, it's like years and years and years of living here. I have so much, you guys, I have so much Booty Mashup shit. So much stuff. And then I'm digging through here and I'm looking at everything and I'm like, what if we did a little 1 week sale and did like booty in a box, Booty Mashup in a box, like a grab bag, a Booty Mashup grab bag, because I've got all these like leftover things that started off with these. And let me show you. Start off with these CDs. These are Booty Mashup CDs, whole stack of them. Keep in mind, this is just one stack. I think I've got like 10 stacks of these CDs that we used to give away at the party. Like this one. Here we go. February. I don't know if you can see it. Not with this shitty camera. February 2012. And so, yeah, I've just got like a zillion of these CDs. I'm like, who the hell even, we would give these away for free at the parties. And nowadays, like even like the last few parties that we did in 2020, I mean, we would give away maybe like 5 or 10 CDs. It used to be we'd give away, 100 in a night. So I'm like, who the hell still even has a CD player? Who wants CDs? And so I posted some of the designs that we did, because each CD here, I'll just show you. We would do, they originally started off as all blank CDs, and I would just put a sticker on it. But eventually I realized, you can actually custom order blank CDs and print your own label. So that's like, this is custom printed on a label. They're all blank, or they were blank. I mean, this one's burned obviously with whatever this track listing is. And it was like pretty cool. Like, it was custom artwork that we did for the designs. And so I was like, I wonder if anyone, so I posted a photo of all the designs on our social media, and people were like, that's really cool. How do I get these CDs? And then that kind of got me thinking. It's like, people really want CDs? Because I've got more than just CDs. I also have, I have a bunch of these. This is the best mashups in the world ever, are from San Francisco. Shrink wrapped album from 2006. This one's from 2006. It's a total bootleg CD, like literally bootleg, so these are tons of those. I found these are confetti batons. Inside of here is a bunch of confetti. If you go, and I'm not going to do it, but you go like that, harder though. I'm going to do it in slow motion. Speed this up, and confetti comes out of it. So I've got like tons of these, because I used to order the confetti company that I would buy these from every Thanksgiving. They would do a Black Friday sale where they'd be like half price. So I stocked up. So I stocked up in November, and the two things happened. DNA Lounge in January said, we're going to start charging you a $150 cleaning fee if you continue using confetti. And then March, the whole, all the parties were shut down. So I've got tons of confetti batons. I've got bags of stickers. These are like random booty stickers. Here's a bunch of Smash Up Derby stickers. The aforementioned band that I guess I'm technically still a part of. No, we didn't break up. So yeah, a bunch of old school booty stickers before I just started being like, no, we really need to be booty mashup. That's like, so then I've also got the booty mashup stickers, and I've got like 10-year anniversary flyers. I've got a huge stack of our March flyers, March 2020, with all the parties. The only one that happened was Disney Mashed, and everything got shut down due to the global pandemic right before St. Patrick's Day. So none of those parties happening. I got a ton of these. I've got even more stickers. These are pretty cool. They're sort of DJ BC from Booty Boston and our Booty Mashup party in Atlanta made these very Ramones style booty stickers. So I've got these, and it's like, and you can see everything is like a huge stack of this stuff, right? Like, what the hell am I gonna do with this? I found t-shirts. These are the old ones that simply say booty on them. They don't say booty mashup. I've got like these leftover shirts. I have still in the shrink wrap DJs from Mars t-shirts that they gave us a ton. I've got a bunch of little buttons, like like these random little I don't know, little buttons, and these Jupiter Gatling just made and sent a whole stack of booty mashup Twitch channel emote stickers. So here I am sitting on all this shit, and I'm like, well, all this stuff's going to go in storage. I'm packing up everything and putting it in storage. Or maybe I sell these online, limited, and it has to be limited because I'm only in this apartment for 2 more weeks, and then it all gets packed up and thrown into storage. So I'm gonna basically put all this together. It is gonna be a booty mashup grab bag. Oh wait a minute, Jupiter Gatling, stop not reading your messages. They're special. No, don't show the emote stickers. You guys barely saw them. Okay. The super limited exclusive collector's items. I don't know. People want those emote stickers, Jupiter. It sure seems like they want them. So I'm definitely I'm gonna do a booty mashup grab bag. Probably 3 different levels depending on whether you want a t-shirt or not. Also, whether I don't have them here because they're actually in my storage unit, but I've got boxes and boxes of still in the box booty branded DJ headphones. And that'll be a premium item. But anyway, I've got like 2 weeks to just sort of like box all this stuff up. So pay attention to our social media, pay attention to our channel over the next week. I'm going to be putting all of that together, and we are going to be doing booty mashup, basically booty looty or booty grab bags. I don't know what to call it. Chat pod, you're good at stuff. So like booty looty, loot, booty mashup loot, booty mashup grab bag, booty mashup in a box. I don't know. And yeah, for our European and overseas people, I will probably need to figure something else out. And maybe I will be able to take some stuff with me to like the small stuff, like the stickers and the CDs and things like that, like the stuff that sort of like can pack flat, like IKEA, that I can like, if I can tear it apart and pack it flat, and then it'll come with me, and maybe that stuff can get sent to Europe. So, oh, the treasure chest, that's pretty good. Booty looty, that's pretty good too. All right. Okay. Anyway. All right. So now it's time to let's jump into to the sort of interview part of the show, I think. I've been wanting to do this for a while because there's a lot of things that have been happening recently in mashup culture, and like I'm super excited about it, and I'm like blah 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 about it, and the only other person I know that sort of like matches me with the same level of kind of like, you guys, this is a thing sort of enthusiasm is PDS Mix, who, as I said, hosts a show on his own channel called Masters of Mash. And so I really just wanted to like, it's not really, this isn't like an interview or anything. I was just more like, why don't you come on the weekly meeting with me so we can just like shoot the shit about all that's going on in mashup culture, because there is a lot. So we did a test about an hour ago. Hopefully everything works. I'm giving him a Skype right now. Here we go. Oh, God. There it is. Of course, it's all resized wrong, too. Are you talking? Can you talk?
I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Wait a minute. I am getting a little bit of an echo now. Let me know how it sounds, guys. Is there an echo on your end, or is it just me? I'm realizing...
Is it
no, I bet it's just me.
your voice, or is it both of our voices?
Hold on. I know what's going on. I have the monitor on. This is the one thing I changed. I'm putting it back, monitor off. Okay. Now talk again, PDS.
Huh?
Yes,
Hello.
okay.
Ha ha.
Okay, we're good to go.
Da, da, da.
Oh, and now you switched back. God, you have this issue on Masters of Mash all the time too. It is some sort of weird quirk, and there it goes again, with like Skype and OBS, where the box just keeps like changing sizes. That happens to you too, doesn't it?
So there's something that you can do that I just recently learned. If you go to click on the camera or the NDI thing that I'm on, go to transform, like past preferences and whatever else. Click on transform, and you'll see that one of the boxes, one of the drop down boxes, has resize or like constrained to inner bounds or whatever it's called. What that does is it keeps it a regular size. I might wind up doing it inside the box, but at least it'll keep me in the same box.
Weird. Oh, am I? And I am quiet now. What the hell? Am I quiet, you guys? Okay, I'm gonna turn myself up and see if that helps.
We definitely did do a pre-check on this, but
Back me up. We did it. It was all good. Although, you know what, when I did do the check, my microphone was louder, and then as soon as I started now it's distorted. God, everything is all weird. I will not melt down. I will not melt down on camera.
It's good. It's good. Fine.
Yeah, and now I'm like sitting here trying to do the thing where you said about transforming, and now I'm getting spinning beach balls. So I just need to like stop fucking with it.
Probably a good idea.
All right, maybe if I just talk like closer to the mic, we'll see what happens here. Oh yeah, now I'm almost muted. Why? That's so strange. Huh.
While you're trying to figure that out, I definitely wanted to show Jupiter that yes, we did get the Lady Gaga cookies in here down in Nashville, and I can open these up for you so you can see. Like, oh yes, yes,
They're pink.
They're pink and green, and they have Oreo on one side, but on the other side, I dropped it. On the other side, there's a heart one. There is a one that's got a little like Lady Gaga dancing kind of cookie, and then there is a third cookie. Well, if I can find it. Oh, and it says Chromatica.
Oh,
on the app.
Nice.
So in Germany and in the UK, Hyperzyle was talking about how even in the UK they only got the black and white kind.
Like,
what's the point?
Yeah, I thought the whole point of the cookies is that they're weird colors, right?
Right, exactly. Well, so my question to Hyperzyle, who's in the chat, and maybe even Jupiter if she's got these, is do they have the Chromatica and like the lady, Lady Gaga on them and stuff like that, and they're black and white, or are they just regular Oreos altogether? Is the question.
Oh yeah, I mean, because to me it seems like that is such a cop out. You obviously just changed the packaging, but the product is exactly the same. And because these taste different too, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So these, it's really weird too because it's like everybody knows the texture of an Oreo cookie. It's like that hard, crunchy, cookie on the outside and then the cream on the inside. But the cream on this is like pure sugar, and the cookie itself tastes like an overly baked like Christmas cookie. So this almost comes off like the flavor of this is almost like a bad grocery store Christmas cookie that you get in like the deli section. It wasn't exactly what I was figuring. And if you look at the advertisements originally announcing this, these were supposed to be this like elegant light pink and a really like bright light green interior. And instead it's Christmas colors. So it's like, are these Christmas cookies?
Well, are they? Or are they? I don't know. I look at those pastel colors, and they seem more like Easter. Like that's maybe like Easter colors.
Have I ever told you about the time that I went to a Lady Gaga concert, and she spent 30 minutes rolling around on stage talking about how there were 3 men in her life, and one of them was God. And she sat there and just went on like a tirade for a half an hour about Jesus, and I was like, what am I watching? I'm like, am I at, I know I'm in Nashville, but like, do you really feel like you have to placate to our audience, like, go off about Jesus?
Oh, that's odd. Huh. Well, so here's another question about your Lady Gaga cookies, your Chromatica cookies. Are they, Did you buy two of them? Like, is there like the one that you eat and then the one that you just collect?
So we did buy two. I'm not sure if we'll keep it because I mean I'm not a big fan of like keeping like foodstuffs past a certain time. But I mean, who knows if these become if people in Europe and whatnot are wanting to pay tons of dollars for these,
It's the PDS mix Lady Gaga cookie black market. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Well, you seem to be enjoying it though.
I mean, they're okay. The same way that like like I said, you eat like a crappy Christmas cookie that somebody's bought for like a gathering somewhere, and there's all these grocery store cookies.
Right.
They can still get fat off of them for sure. But the good news is that as disappointing as these are, at least now it's Girl Scout cookie season, and I've got Thin Mints.
Okay.
So, what's your cookie when you do Girl Scout stuff?
Are they still called Samoas? Okay.
Yeah. The chocolate and the coconut with like the
so good.
Yeah,
those are that's my jam. But where do you buy Girl Scout cookies? Like, where does that happen? Like, I live in San Francisco. I haven't had any experience with Girl Scout cookies like since I lived in Ohio. Like, I've had them because somebody in the suburbs had brought some, but yeah.
You can get Girl Scouts from any breeder. People who have children definitely will try to sell you Girl Scout cookies. You can also find them usually outside of grocery stores. They'll have a booth set up or whatnot. I wanted to share with everybody watching though that this year, and matter of fact, the Girl Scouts now have a website where you can buy them online. I'm pretty sure it's just like girlscouts.com. They'll point you to where they're selling it in your area. But Troop 6000 in Tennessee and also in New York City, but check other locations as well, are all the profits go to housing homeless Girl Scouts and trying to find them homes. So be sure to pick up like some new vegan cookies, like the Toast Yay, which is French toast inspired, or my wife's favorite, the peanut butter patties. And again, depending on where you are, there are certain manufacturers of Girl Scout cookies. It's like the nation's split in half. And so there's like ABC, and then there's another name of the other manufacturer. But one does more of the vegan variants, and the other one doesn't. So we always go with the one that has the vegan, the Thin Mints, and they taste just exactly the same. There's no difference whatsoever.
Okay, so it's not like the Lady Gaga cookies U.S. version versus Europe.
Yeah. Just crumble them up, throw them away, put them in your mouth.
All right, how's my mic sound now? Oh, that's what the deal was. Okay, for whatever reason, in my OBS, it went from left to right, and I had it. Oh, so stupid. I'm so. What were we saying earlier during our test call? Is like someday we're just going to be the talent, and there will be a team of tech people to deal with all this stuff. Oh. Cheers. I long for the day when that can happen. Oh, yeah.
One of these days we'll have like producers and management, and it'll be great. The Booty Mashup channel have branched off into a series of channels. These are my dreams, at least.
Oh yeah, sort of like the Booty Mashup network of channels.
I'm liking what I'm hearing right now.
So let's talk mashup culture. First of all, I just have to shout out again, sing the praises of your Masters of Mash show. You are now on episode 26, I want to say.
Just finished episode 26. Yeah, it's crazy. I'd never thought it would, I know that there's more than enough people to cover over the last 20 years. If anything, I've barely scratched the surface. But yeah, to look back on and be like, wow, I'm already on episode 26 is crazy considering it's a 2-hour show.
Yeah, I was a little shocked by that too. That averages out to, definitely more than, I mean, I know you were trying to do it weekly and then there are a couple breaks there, but even still, considering the amount of research that I know you do and the deep dive that you do, you're still averaging more than every other week.
Yeah. The key is that you're right. I do a ton of research. I do usually do a pre-interview, which is usually like sometimes the pre-interviews go for 5 to 7 hours.
I remember you told me you had like an 8-hour conversation with, I forget who. But
honestly, that's more than one
yeah,
person.
I know. I mean, when I was on the show, it was like, I was like, I'm not going to talk to you for 5 fucking hours. And then next thing I know, it's like, shit, we're coming up on 5 hours.
That's right. It goes like this. When you talk about something that you love and you're intimately familiar with, it's, time just really flies by. And especially as prolific as a lot of these artists are, and the history that a lot of people just don't know because, maybe you just got into mashups. Maybe you've been watching mashup culture for maybe like 9 to 10 years. Mashup culture goes back 20 years. And so there's so much that even diehards like you and I don't know, which is one of the things I relish about this show is that I'm getting to learn the inside scoop on, Go Home Productions, Sex Pistols, they loved it. They wanted it to happen. Madonna, she loved it, wanted it to happen. But ultimately, they kind of passed on that and let him put it out himself.
Right.
So it wasn't something that was like, it wasn't like the Bowie thing that, they put out for Go Home Productions. And it wasn't like, what was the other one? It was Rapture Riders, which got put out on the Blondie thing.
It was on, that was like, to my knowledge, definitely one of the first officially released mashups, and it was on Blondie's Greatest Hits album, but with the Doors, so the Doors signed off on it too, and yeah, that was like a time period. There was this like weird time period when mashup culture was definitely a buzzy media darling kind of thing. It started in the UK. It definitely migrated over to the US. We're talking 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. And because it was so brand new, there were people that were sort of like jumping on board and being like, well, wait, can we, I know they're called bootlegs in the UK, and here in the US they're simply called mashups. But they're called bootlegs because they're illegal. So everyone was like, can we, can this be legal? Is this a thing? And I was surprised you didn't ever get to the part to talk to Mark Vidler, Go Home Productions, about the album that was called Mashed.
We talked about it very briefly. We stopped at 2005. Yeah. So there's going to be part 2, and we'll definitely go from 2005 on. Mashed came out in 2007. Again, we definitely talked about it in the pre-interview, and we briefly mentioned it. And if you watch the pre-roll, the video pre-roll, there's a television commercial that was produced for the album. The funny thing, a story thing I didn't know about that album, by the way, is that they had to scrap the album after it was released and reissue it because somebody in the art department didn't license the picture of the blender that was on the front. And so that was illegal as well.
Oh my gosh. So the music, I mean, like the music you would think would be the roughest part of that. And in fact, that album, I remember when it came out and it was a fail. It was an epic fail. And the reason it was an epic fail is because by the time they dealt with all the legal wrangling of getting the clearances, a lot of the mashups felt dated. And there's like a sweet spot with like, it's like if they only concentrated on songs that were maybe like 10 to 20 years old, then it's like a throwback retro thing. But by doing songs that were super hot and mashing them up, but by the time the album came out, it's like, why is there this album with these songs that are like 2 years old? It doesn't feel fresh, but it's not retro yet. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody already had the MP3. Most of the songs that were on that album were already huge hits on the underground. So anybody that would be in the underground helping push that into the mainstream, where it was like, why am I buying this? Because, I already have the mashups. I want new material from Lou and Placido. I want new material from Go Home Productions. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was so but it's I'm not surprised you didn't get to it because even though they were working on it, yeah, it didn't get released until basically after, if you were going in chronological order with your last interview. But then that also sort of, this whole thing of, there was this time period in mashup culture right when it started, where suddenly I was like, oh wait, maybe this can become a legal thing. And then that buzz died away, and there have been almost no legally released mashups until just recently. And that ties into your second to last interviewee on your show, which, I tease you all the time about, like, old white men talking about mashups, old guys talking about mashups, which is like the bulk of your show, because sadly that is the bulk of the old school mashup scene. But now you just recently had a 23-year-old producer, black producer, which is amazing. It's like the new blood, the new energy. There's so many new producers popping up, and that was really nice. I'm glad, because I know his star is rising pretty crazy. So I love that he could have easily been like, your live stream, I got other things going on. Beyonce's on the phone, Oprah's on the phone, because he's become a little bit of like a certain subsection of celebritydom have definitely latched on. Once Oprah is like, oh yeah, you're my favorite mashup producer, it's a pile on of other celebrities who, are basically Johnny come latelys, but also don't want to miss out on their invite to the party. So they're all like, oh yeah, this guy. Yeah. And his recent Rihanna versus Luther Vandross mashup then basically got co-opted by Fat Joe, who basically came out of retirement to rap over Amorphous's mashup and release it as a single. Like what's happening? Is it 2003, 2004 all over again with the buzz of mashup culture?
I would really hope so, but I honestly want to say that it's better, because back in 2003 and 2004, the part that I don't get enough to focus on my show is the legal temperature in the room in the early 2000s with Hillary Rosen leading the RIAA, and all of the people getting sued for illegal downloading and for copyright infringement and stuff like that in the early 2000s, had the management and the people dealing with Go Home Productions back in the day, Mark Vidler, they were billing him as a DJ, because it was one of those things of like, well, DJs do this, right? They blend stuff together, and so it's legal, right? Whereas with Amorphous, they are very specifically, while they do they do mention that he DJs, they specifically are calling him out as a mashup artist, and that they are talking about mashups and using the word mashup. And so with TikTok, with all of your apps and your software and everything that you have, and DJ culture at the forefront of everything right now, I'm really hoping that this will spur a change in copyright to allow for creators to shine as the producers they are. Because very specifically, I want to point out that over the course of me doing all of this, there's a lot of questions that I've had that I'm slowly starting to like really solidify my answers on. And one is that mashups are not a genre. Mashups are a style. They're a production style.
Yeah.
And so therefore they are a tool set of a producer. And it's one of the things I got into with Amorphous, because Amorphous was like, hey, I know I do these mashups and I do them for fun, but really what shines is my production. And I'm like, those are not two separate things. Those are all the same thing, because your ability to draw from different cultures and different genres and different eras, and use sounds from those things that are not yours, along with sounds that are yours, are just as important as like choosing what instruments you use on your track and stuff like that. So eventually, again, one of the things I really hope is that other people in the industry will look at the success of Amorphous. So like if his star rises, have no doubt that there will be other record labels that will reach out to mashup producers in our scene and ask to redo their stuff and really like, license stuff from them and include them. But I'll tell you the secret, and here is the secret. And this is a secret that went true for Mark Vidler and true for Amorphous. And that is that both of them, before their breakout, had management in place 6 months before it happened.
Wow.
So that, because when good example, I'll bring up Kelexandra again. When Miley Cyrus reaches out to Kelexandra and says, "Hey, thanks for making that mashup. We don't want a license or anything, but can we borrow your artwork?" And she says, "Yeah, I'd love for you to have my artwork." She said, "But will you pay me for it?" And they're like, No, we won't. At that point, when they reach out, you say, "Well, here, talk to my management." And the management knows how the industry works. They know that people get paid lots and lots of money, sometimes not even to mix anything, just to provide an idea. And so if you have management in place, if you're serious about like what you're doing with your production and you're starting to get, the celebrities that you're mixing and matching, like giving you nods on Twitter and nods on, "Oh, this is great, blah, 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 blah." Like, you need to have management in place to handle all of this
Yeah, I didn't realize
stuff.
that Amorphous had management already. Or like, at what point did he end up getting management?
So if you go back and watch the episode that I did on him, and I know the first hour is not your favorite, but
Well, actually, it's usually, I'm usually just waking up and getting my shit together, and then it's like, oh fuck, the show's on, and then, so I often miss the first hour, but then I'm always like, well, the first hour is just like, where'd you grow up, what your parents do for a living, and I'm like, just get to the mashup part.
the funny thing is with Amorphous, he started making mashups he knew about mashups and started editing on YouTube at 8 years old.
Yeah.
And, really started getting into the mashup game when he was 13. Mm-hmm. And so everything that he did I know it seems like he became a star overnight, but literally he's got 10 years of brushes with celebrities, of getting signed to a label, of scoring. He scored basically Paris is Burning 2. It's called Kiki. Mm-hmm. He helped, along with a productive collective called Queen Beat, helped score that film, which I think you would really enjoy, because I enjoyed it. I mean, I love Paris is Burning, so it's like, this is Paris is Burning Part 2. Anyway, through that is when the people who represent him now were like trying to get in touch with him and saying, "Hey, we want to represent you." And he kept just kind of ignoring their emails, not knowing what to do. And then after a while of like, getting Missy Elliott up in his DM saying, "Believe in yourself, you can do this, I think you're talented. All these other people, just be patient." He's collecting all of these people in the industry who are just like kind of seeing him as we know you're going to do big things. So once he has that opportunity, not only does he have his fan base that turns around and rallies behind him and says, to anybody, like if a celebrity reaches out, they're like, "You better do him right. You better license this stuff. You better blah, blah, blah," like standing up for him. But you also have these celebrities coming out and saying, "Yeah, you probably should do this kid right." And so,
it's interesting. I mean, having been in bands for years, as I was mentioning earlier in the show, and I definitely liken the mashup scene to any localized music scene where there are artists that somehow break through or get like a little lucky break and then are able to build on that. And then there are others who like sadly might be, just as talented or even more talented and languish in obscurity. And I've seen that happen for years. It's like, I remember back in the day, people were like, "Oh, why's, Go Home Productions, this Johnny Come Lately," Johnny Come Lately, 2003, right? But, why is he getting, the record deal and, Soundhog is not, or, some of these other names that have kind of like, right. People don't even know anymore. But yeah, it's just, it is interesting. It's just a matter of, it's a combination of luck and chutzpah. And in today's day and age, really, who's an influencer or a celebrity that can kind of like get behind you a little bit. Hello, this channel is a perfect example. Would half our audience be here if it wasn't for Critical Role? So it's like, yay, we on a smaller scale, we got one, you know. Shout out, by the way, in the chat pod to Lewis Wake. I am so sorry your YouTube, here we are talking about copyright and how things are changing, and Lewis Wake's YouTube channel got completely killed off with no strikes or warnings. So what was that you were saying, PDS Mix, about like copyright changing? Like,
so that's the scary thing, and this is the thing that really is upsetting both back then and now, is that the industry has two sides. There are the people that are just right up there with Don Henley that are like, this is our stuff, we own it, we control it. You know, you're a part of the interactive crowd trying to, you know, make all your stuff based on the stuff we've spent millions of dollars making, right? And then there's the other side that understands that today's music fan is a participatory audience. They are people that want to engage not only with the celebrity, but with the content itself.
This isn't just music. This is all culture at this point. I mean, this is movies.
Correct.
How many fake trailers and, like, you know, fake sequel trailers, DIY fan fiction type thing videos are on YouTube. Speaking of fan fiction, books, entire, like, you know, books are written using, you know, characters that, you know, people don't have the rights to, but are, you know, taking it. It's like the interactive crowd is simply pop culture in 2021.
Correct. And the issue specifically with that is that when you have a Lewis Wake or when you have an Amorphous or something like that, who's got, you know, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of followers, if you're an industry person, you're leaving money on the table, because literally if you leverage it correctly, not only can you have a new star that will gain more people and bring more money in, but you can utilize that audience. And instead you see things like the industry going, oh, let's crush this. And it disperses, like, there's your 100,000 people gone, you know, both as, you know, as an artist. And I know as a mashup producer, that's so damaging, because there are so many people that have stopped producing because they're like, how am I ever going to get that audience back?
That was Schmoley, that was Lobster Dust, and those are two names that I'm still saying because they came back. They're like, okay, well, I guess I'll just start again on another platform. But there are so many. What?
You brought up Soundhog.
There's a perfect example of someone, and that's early days. He got burned. I don't know what the whole story is. Tim from Radio Clash, I think, knows a little bit more of the story. But it was, from what I understand, something where he just basically got burned by the record industry. It wasn't even necessarily a copyright thing. It was just the typical, like, I'm going to make you a star, and then, you know, makes no money or whatever.
Right. And sometimes you get in with bad management. Sometimes that management doesn't even know how to leverage it. That being said, I've been trying to get Soundhog. So let me also explain my lapse in December that you pointed out. The show, like you said, is highly researched. I spend most of my week, you know, digging through stuff, creating, you know, the video roll that goes before, creating the scene, and then just doing tons and tons of research. And on top of that, I also have to generally try to coax mashup producers to be on the show.
Really?
And so
I mean, granted, it's like, I know DJ Time's been on it, I've been on it, and it's like, I'm like, oh my God, a whole show where you're going to talk about me? Okay. But, like, why is this a hard sell for anybody?
Some people have anxiety. Other people have things that happen in their life. Like, good example, I know that, well, see, I can't reveal, like, a lot of these people's reasons, but what I'll say is this, and that is that if I'm ever not on the air, it's not because I didn't book something. It's because that person canceled on me, and I'm not going to turn around and, like, call them out and be like, well, we were supposed to do blah blah blah, but so and so didn't show up. You know, it's just one of those things of, like, there's just no show this week, and I'll try to, like, you know, put something up on YouTube or you know, to balance it out.
Right.
You know,
you just got to wear them down, Shane. Wear him down. No.
I'm working with TV. I'm trying to get, was it a Rhythm Scholar? Rhythm Scholar refuses to be on the show. And I'm
Rhythm.
DJ Trip refuses to be on the show.
So I mean, I know both of these people. DJ Trip hates being on camera. Hates it. Like the one time I went back when I was doing Mashup Talk, and I would every week have a different whoever the guest DJ was. Like he was fine to guest DJ, but he did not want to come on the show and talk. And it's funny because in real life, I mean, Trip's easy to talk to, he's, and Rhythm Scholar stayed at my house, stayed at my Airbnb and had lovely chats with him and, dinner and everything. And these are personable people, but I guess there's a difference between one-on-one interaction in real life and then being like, oh God, I got to be on, I guess. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've reached out to so many producers that I would just love to do nothing but talk to them. And if anything, once I get enough of these done, there is probably a list of people that have said they'll be in an audio interview, but not a video interview, that eventually I might spin off a podcast specifically for that list, where it'll just be an audio version of that.
I mean, I'm just recently getting into podcasts right now, not as a producer, because I still have not quite figured out how to really make a compelling podcast about mashups without playing said mashups. I know Radio Clash gets away with it, but he's definitely doing it bootleg style. And but I've been listening to a lot, and the podcasts are just basically a fancy way to say, audio talk show. And it's like your show is literally that. Like, the faces are there. I know it started off as a live stream, but half the time I'm not sitting there watching it. It's just on while I'm doing dishes and cleaning the house and, just doing stuff. You should definitely convert all of those into a podcast. Do it.
So yeah, one of the things I'm hopeful for, and I'm going to do what Amorphous does. So Amorphous, on their Twitter and on their channels, anytime they say something, Amorphous is turning around and projecting where he wants to go in the world. Saying like, I will work with Rihanna one day. I'm going to do this by the time, whatever. So because I know Amorphous, literally, was talking to Missy Elliott, and Missy Elliott was like saying, hey, Netflix should hire you. I'm going to go ahead and say that I would love to produce a documentary about mashups for Netflix. So if anybody watching knows anybody at Netflix and they want to throw some Netflix money to me, I can easily gather all of the people, make this happen, and make a documentary for Netflix about mashups, because it's been 20 years.
I'm sure you saw the movie Rip, but Rip was practically...
Yeah, a manifesto. Rip a manifesto.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically just for me, it was a Girl Talk promo video, and it kind of missed a lot. It was well done. It was well put together, but it really only focused on this one tiny little fraction and mostly focusing on only one person's career, as opposed to the breadth and, at this point, longevity of the mashup scene. And the thing that's just most interesting about the mashup scene is that it is still mostly underground. Like it's still like there are a few things that kind of like trickle up here and there, but it's only like little bits of it.
Amorphous is currently on the Billboard charts right now,
which is crazy. But that's like one of the bits that like bobbled up, sort of like the same way Phil Dog's Milo and Miami Sound Machine mashup in 2004 was on the UK charts, pretty big. And,
But look, can you point out a difference here, though? Is that Phil Dog made the mashup. Milo reached out and said, I really like what you, let's make this happen. Paid them under the team, basically credited himself as making the mashup.
Yeah, but
Dog. And whereas with Amorphous, that's the thing that's got me excited, is that not only does he get co-artist credit, meaning like the track is Fat Joe and Amorphous. Not Fat Joe featuring Amorphous. It's Fat Joe and Amorphous and DJ Khaled, or
Right.
DJ Khaled, right? And he gets production credit, and he gets, you know, money off of the single. So it's like this is actually the most legit I've seen it become so far.
Which is interesting, because if you see that video, Amorphous is like barely in it. Like he's just like this, like I think total screen time is like less than 2 seconds. And like, let's face it, the hook, from a pure pop music perspective, you listen to that song, what's the hook? The hook's
Rihanna.
The hook's the Rihanna vocal. Why is Rihanna not even credited as one of the artists? Like, right. How does that happen? Like, why? Like, I don't get that. Like, do you know what the deal is?
I do. I can't talk a lot about it. Let me just tell you, there's a lot Amorphous told me that has got me so much more excited than I already was, that I cannot reveal based on where his trajectory is going. But again, just look at what he's been doing. When he got off the phone with me, he immediately went into a live stream with the head of Tidal Music, and then later was on a phone call with the head of Warner Brothers Pictures, because he is also he deals with film editing.
Yeah, film editing. God, and that's a whole other issue. I mean, we talk about like these moments in mashup culture where stuff is like bubbled up a little bit. Again, it's happening now. But, you know, Party Ben and Lobster Dust both produced mashups for an Adam Sandler movie that was apparently just a shit show of legal wrangling and headaches, and never happened again. You know? So I'm a little skeptical and a little less optimistic than you, I think, because I've seen over the course of 20 years, every time there's like this little moment where it's like, where it feels like, ooh, mashup culture is going to be legitimized and is going to actually kind of like rise up to the mainstream, it never takes. It's just like this blip, and then it goes back down to being underground again.
And that can fuel a lot of cynicism. That can fuel a lot of anger and upset, especially within our community. And I see that a lot. And unfortunately, like, those pessimistic attitudes keep us from gaining opportunities. It keeps us from, because along with, that's the thing about Amorphous. He is grateful for everything. He doesn't expect anything, but when he gets it, he's super grateful. He exudes positivity. And the most important thing, and I'll tell you, this has to do with like having management and everything else like that, is he is primed and ready to accept an opportunity when it arises. And so many people are just not, they don't have their shit together. They don't have their catalog, you know, cleaned up and available in one place. They don't have their MP3s tagged correctly.
Right. Tag your shit.
Yeah. Tag your shit. Get your shit together. The record labels are going to come calling. There's no doubt that there will be more opportunity within our ranks. And I'll tell you, I know that you're skeptical, but hear me out here. It's important to not just know your mashup history, but it's also important to know the history of the record industry itself. And the reason why it had such a hard time with MP3 downloads and whatever else like that is that it had become lazy and stagnant with how it got its money. And somebody moved its cheese and then turned around and they were like, we're going to be upset and throw over the table and arrest everybody and sue everybody and blah, blah, blah. That didn't work out for them.
Yeah, that was like the whole Napster days. Yeah, that did not go well.
Everything else like that, taking away from record stuff and touring is the only, you know, whatever. They're realizing that they're going to have to rethink everything. And that really includes licensing. They have to leverage the ability to license their stuff to people who want to sample it for not extravagant fees, and not to completely shut them down, but find ways to work with those artists and make the fans as happy as the artists. Because I'll tell you what, fans are just as pissed off as us in the mashup scene, mashup fans are, because they've seen us get screwed over. They've seen mainstream artists get screwed over by the record labels, right? And so it's like the record industry has to do some people right. They have to turn around and like show that like normal people who are young producers coming up and established, you know, mainstream artists can not only work together, but also those rags to riches stories need to happen. All kinds of stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm super excited and positive. And if Netflix or Yaganub, if you've got hookups, let's talk, because let's get some stuff. Let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah. So PDS mix. I want to make you a regular on the show, because, like I said, like especially in our booty mashup fam circle, tight little circle of us, and then the extended outer rings. I mean, it's like definitely you and I are the ones who are like, wait, this thing, and it's like let's talk, and then of course, Lobster Dust is like, oh God, that was a long thing to read. In our
Yeah.
text chat on our Facebook, our internal Facebook group, but you and I are the ones who are so passionate about this sort of like the inner workings and the logistics of the culture of mashups. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just the same way that mashups are a production style and part of a producer's toolkit. Mashups are just as much as part of the music industry as mainstream releases. I mean, we are a subset of music, and if anything, we have our tendrils and our roots go into every section of the music industry.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I'm going to bug you again, because I love having these chats.
Thanks.
And, I could just call you up and we could chat about it, but I'd rather do it for an audience that actually kind of cares about mashup cultures, like you and I do.
Well, we're going to need them. We're going to need everybody that's watching right now, and that means you who's watching right now. We need you to yell this as loud as we are. Because, I mean, ultimately, it's going to take an army of us to get the industry to turn over a new leaf and make this happen for not just the fans, but for the artists. And let's revolutionize music.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on it for years. Let's just keep plugging away. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm into this shit because I simply love all music, and I love the idea of combining different things. So just aesthetically, I love it. But from a producer and pop culture aficionado level, I would definitely the whole reason Booty Mashup started in the first place is simply to try to bring awareness to this art form. And here we are. Thanks for coming on to the weekly meeting, PDS.
I thank you for your 16 years of dedicated, tireless championing of mashups and mashup culture.
Plus.
Without you, a lot of this wouldn't have happened. Without you, team, and your family, like all of us coming together, we probably wouldn't be here talking about
and
this.
Thanks everyone, it's like old and new fans alike, everyone here in the chat pod, so appreciate it. We're gonna get our Friday night started. PDS, I'm gonna bug you about the little transform trick, so next time we do this you don't keep expanding and retracting and all the other stupid OBS shit that's going on. Thanks so much for coming on to the show. I'll talk to you later. All right, everybody. That was PDS Mix, aka Shane, also known as Pimp Daddy Supreme. And we went over time a little bit, but I kind of had a feeling we would. I'm making up for all the times I was late for this show. So let me change up the go live notification and the title, because it is Friday night. It is it's our typical. It's our Friday, and what's the theme today? It is Bubblegum Day, you guys. I did not even know that this was a thing, but in fact it is. So we are about to get a happy hour started with Airson. And then we've got King of Pants is going to be coming on after Airson, and then I am your late night DJ tonight, celebrating Bubblegum Day. I don't even chew bubblegum, but we're basically bubblegum pop. We were just talking a lot about pop culture, pop music. It's all the bubblegum pop, the shameless, what we think of as disposable pop songs. The fun, the cheeky, the like the teen pop bubblegum pop. So that's what we're going with for today in celebration of National Bubblegum Day. So yes, apparently it's a thing. So thanks everyone for tuning in for your weekly meeting. Let me get ready to text Airson and let her know we are good to go. And as always, so appreciate you guys being here, tuning in, being a part of the channel, all your subscriptions and your bits and your cheers, and be tuned because the booty mashup in a box, booty looty, booty treasure chest. God, I don't know. I need to like maybe do a poll and figure out what the best name is. But yeah, your booty swag bag is going to be available soon. So anyway, thanks a lot. Have a good Friday night, you guys, and I will see you in a few hours.